The SACP has accused US Ambassador to South Africa Reuben Brigety of reckless behaviour, saying his public utterances were not warranted and he breached diplomatic protocol. In a statement, they said in defence of South Africa's democratic and national sovereignty and for his behaviour, South Africa must send him packing as a matter of urgency. Dr. Mashilo of the SACP, their spokesperson, joins me now. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News this evening. You had some very harsh words for that ambassador, saying what he's doing is amounting to attempts to destabilize South Africa. Why is that?
Because this was not the first time he behaves in that hysterical manner. You will recall in October they issued a statement together with the US consulate in Johannesburg as part of the United States government, alleging that there is a planned terrorist attack in the area of Sandton, which will take place on the 29th of October. They said this against the background of LGBTIQ community, people having organized their own parade in Sandton. We all know the perceptions that prevail in the United States of America against people who belong to the LGBTIQ community. The way in which the United States Embassy and Consulate in Tshwane and Johannesburg respectively behaved themselves left much to be desired. It was like, in fact, it created panic in South Africa. If you understand what it means for an alert to be issued about a planned terrorist attack. We are now in May 2023. That did not happen. This month, they come out again with the accusations that they have made in a manner that is not consistent with diplomatic protocol. He held a press briefing in our country, which the United States will never allow any ambassador to hold in the US to accuse the government of the US the way the ambassador of the US to South Africa accused South Africa.
Dr. Mashilo, we've seen the DIRCO spokesperson, Clayson Monyela, saying there's been an apology and there's an understanding the parties want to move on. Is that satisfactory if our government and our Department of International Relations and Cooperation is saying this issue has been put to bed and where investigations need to happen, they will happen?
It was important that the government takes the step that it took, but it is not sufficient because you and I have not seen the apology. We are hearing that there is an apology. We have not look at the manner in which the ambassador addressed the press briefing and compare that to what you hear about the apology that he apparently tendered. We have not seen him tendering that apology. We have not seen any written piece of paper in which he tenders that apology. And his behavior has to be looked at in its historical context against the background of the so-called alert the US Embassy and Consulate issued in October last year. If you may allow us, there is some comments we wish to make about the US, South Africa's international trade and investment ties. Particularly, if you look at AGOA, it has almost ceased to be a legitimate trade and investment relationship instrument. It has been used as a weapon of war, as a weapon to extract concessions and undermine democratic sovereignty of the nations that benefit from the relationship. Imagine if our relationship has to be equal. You cannot tell me that you can't move this way in your international relations policy if you are to benefit from this agreement. That is not a good faith conduct. It is a bad faith conduct, and we strongly discourage and denounce it.
Dr. Mashilo, let's come back to that issue of the furore over what the ambassador said. There's a lot of fuss about how something was said, and in that concern about armaments has perhaps been moved to the side. Are you satisfied with the explanation given about why South Africa did not supply arms to Russia in Simonstown, and that issue hasn't been lost among the noise that's come out? And have you engaged with anyone in government about this?
Let us say this. The United States sells weapons to any state on earth they wish to. First and foremost, we need to check which international law prohibit states to sell weapons and allow the United States to sell weapons to whatever country they wish to. It is important that we base our perspectives in international law. It cannot be that a single country together with its allies impose unilateral sanctions undermining multilateral channels such as the United States Security Council and the United States General Assembly, and then expand the unilateral sanctions that they have imposed to have extraterritorial impact. We need to discuss that because that is undemocratic. When you look at the government of the US at the present, it appears to be a democratic government when looked at from a domestic perspective. But when looked at from the perspective of its actions internationally, it has become a dictator to other states.
Dr. Alex Mashilo, the SACP spokesperson, thanks so much for your time.